on too, y'all. I didn't expect to put up another video today, but I saw something that was so fascinating and so intrigued me, I thought, this is the perfect day to do another alien video. If you guys haven't seen it, I have a video that I did maybe 2-3 weeks ago that's all about like some, somebody in like the big defense ministry of, was it Israel? I'm so sorry, I don't remember. It was somewhere in the Middle East. I just ate and I'm in a little bit of a food coma. It's funny. How are you guys' Christmas is going? How's everything going for everybody? Sound off in the comments. I had, what I always do, which is meat. And I ate a little too much meat, a little too many hamburger patties. So I'm a little bit of a meat coma. I got the meat sweats. I always love when people say that. But so I had done a video, go check that out, where this guy who was really high up in one of the Middle Eastern militaries has just confirmed that aliens exist. They're working with Trump, and they've said they don't want to come out yet, but soon. And guys, if you didn't see my video from earlier, go check it out. If you are struggling during the holidays, you're having kind of a hard time coping, or you are alone on the holidays because it's COVID season, or you have health issues, I have a video that might be helpful. Go check that video out as well. If you want to see other videos, I do have another video like this. Like I said, links should be in the description and in the cards, but it's all about Trump working with aliens and that this has been confirmed by somebody in the Middle East who is high up in the defense in one of the governments. Go check that out. I also have a series I'm doing on Eugene Yacuni, Onision, Britney Spears, Shane Dawson, and so much more. I talk a lot about pop culture, as you guys know, and give different insights into things that you might not hear other places. So go check those out, and if you like this channel, make sure and subscribe, hit notifications so you know when I upload, and like the video to help me out. Leave a comment. Okay, on with the video. Which, if you guys know me, I love the weird stuff. And when I say the weird stuff, I'm so weird because I'm not into science fiction or fantasy. You would think that I would be, but I'm not. But I love ancient aliens. I love the concepts that giants once roamed the earth. I love UFOs. I believe I've seen a few. And by the way, when I say I've seen UFOs, I'm not saying I've seen aliens. I don't know. I know that me and people I've been with, not just me solo, but other people will see them around me. Objects that we can't identify. I'm fascinated by this theory and I love it. This is one of my big passions. So I love things like ancient aliens. I'm all about the History Channel. Now with that being said, a couple things before I start this video if you saw the title. First of all, everything I'm going to talk about, these are theories. I don't know if aliens are real. I don't even know if Jesus was real. But I think this is such a fun topic that I really want to dive into it with everybody because I love this concept and this is something I've always thought for a really long time that ETs do exist. I think just like we have good people and bad people, we probably have good ETs and bad ETs. Why would we think that we're the only humanoid or any evolved conscious species in or out of our universe? It's just such an arrogant way of thinking. The other reason I think I kind of like to believe this theory is I've just run into so many a-hole humans. I'm sure you have too. I'm like, it'd be nice to think there's just a bunch of nice people somewhere who've got a lot of technology who can fix people's bodies and make things heaven on earth who might want to hang out one day. It's probably not going to happen in my lifetime, but it is a fun thought to have an alien friend who wants to come down here and sniff my Bath and Body Works candles with me, and we can put on Spring Poppy's Victoria's Secret lotion, or I've got Wild Primrose. What else do I have? Oh, you guys don't even know. Over here, I just have a ton of body sprays and lotions. It's kind of absurd. And then I have the doubles and the triples for when things run out in my closet. I will talk to you guys about all that one day. But let's go ahead and let's dive into this. Before we do, I also want to say to anybody who is of any Christian faith or any religious faith, this video is not meant to offend or put down your beliefs. I'm all for anybody's beliefs as long as they don't hurt yourself or other people. That's kind of how I look at the word. Look at the word. Look at the world. I'm somebody that very much believes that we all need different tools to get where we need to be. And depending on where you were born, depending on your background, some religions work differently for other people, and that's fantastic. Me, myself, I'm not religious. I'm extremely spiritual, which I've taken a lot of crap for being on this platform, but that's okay because these are just my tools and how I use, this is what I do to navigate the world, and I don't feel like I have to justify that or explain that to anybody, and neither do you. So it's awesome. But let's go ahead and talk about this. Was our little Lord baby Jesus? Do y'all remember Talladega Nights when he kept praying to the baby version of Jesus? and then everybody was mad at him. That whole scene is my Bible. No joke. I literally tell people, I'm like, you want to know what my Bible is? Watch that scene from Talladega Nights. To me, that's one of the best. It's one of my favorite movies. I think it's because I grew up in the Midwest around like, you know, we had one of the former partners of one of my parents was super into NASCAR. And so like, there's a lot of symbolism that like makes sense for where I grew up. And so to me, it's really, really funny. Also, anything with Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly together is going to be my jam. But let's talk about this. Was our Lord and Savior, baby Christmas Jesus, I'm just saying Christmas because it's Christmas today. Baby Christmas Jesus, was he actually an alien? Let's go over some of the evidence. So first of all, if you guys go look back into medieval or Renaissance paintings, you will see an explosion of the religious paintings in UFOs. It is no joke. You don't believe me? Go watch the History Channel. I'm going to pull one up in just a second, but there are so many examples of paintings from hundreds of years ago that literally have UFOs in them. Not only that, back in the day, y'all, they had UFO sightings. In fact, they would report it in newspapers. One time, I'll have to find this. I'll do a whole video about this because this is fascinating. There was a painting about this, and there was a news article, I think it was like in the Netherlands from like 400 or 500 years ago, where there was a literal UFO war going on above everybody, like above this one town. And this was a known thing. So I always find it interesting when people are always saying there's no evidence, because even though this is what I would say. I think we have plenty of evidence. I just don't think we're allowed to have it. Kind of like the way I view health in this country, right? I believe that the cures for most illnesses, diseases, and physical issues exist. We just don't get to have access to it. Thus is the same thing. I'm fascinated in the concept, or in the Bible, in the concept of giants. And on top of that, how many accounts and photos have we seen of people finding different giant skeletons? And even that, not just that, the Native Americans. The Native Americans have been screaming, and most of the indigenous tribes, most of the indigenous peoples around the world have talked about having interactions with aliens. It's interesting. We have to believe all of these different people. Like, it's always like, believe minorities for their experiences. And look, I'm on board with believing people for their experiences. I've been through it in the medical community, and minorities aren't treated fairly. But why is it in society still we don't take seriously many of the teachings and what the indigenous have to say? I just always find when it comes to the minority talk, we always leave out the indigenous, and I just don't know why. It bothers me. Do y'all know in the United States, there are still Native American reservations. There are still reservations that don't have electricity and running water. Like, what is our country doing? What is our country doing? It makes me so furious in how we've treated these people. But let's continue to talk. I want to talk specifically about Christmas baby Jesus. So first of all, as we know from the story in the Bible, and again, I'm not super religious, but I'm really diving into this because it's been, and this is stuff I've known, but I'm really diving more into it right now. It's super fun. There was an episode on ancient aliens today that I watched that was all about the book of Enoch and some of these lost scrolls that were found. And let's go ahead and talk about the Bible. So the Bible states that, not that I'm somebody that super goes against what the Bible does and doesn't say, because I think it's a super old text written for a different people, different time. That was a text where they talked about how to own your slaves. I think it's pretty outdated. But many people around the world in this country still use that as some ultimate word of truth. Fine, whatever you want, as long as you're not hurting people, whatever you feel to do for you. That's how I look at it, right? But they talk about the fact that Jesus's mother, by the way, is it Jesus? Is it Jesus? I've heard people call him Yahweh. Was it a him? I mean, I think it's a him. What is it? Let me know. What's the actual, how do you actually pronounce that? But his mother, which we know is Mary, apparently was Mary the Virgin. I find that weird because she was married to Joseph. How were they married and they hadn't consummated? Like, I'm not trying to be rude or weird. I'm just saying it's kind of weird. So I don't necessarily know that she was a virgin overall, but maybe what they're trying to say is she got pregnant by a divine miracle intervention, but how could that just not be artificial insemination? I'm just throwing it out there. Couldn't that be what it is? And we constantly have Jesus in the Bible quoting, "You are from this world. I'm not from this world." And you'll hear people, in fact, I'm going to bring it up in just a second. You'll hear different arguments that say when it comes to this, oh, well, that just means he's from heaven. Well, who's to say heaven isn't another planet or another dimension or another realm? And who's to say that's not alien? Alien is anything that's not of this earth. to an extent, right? So wouldn't it kind of be the same thing? That's why I do love ancient aliens, because they're really hypocritical sometimes. Because who's the guy? George Tzoukilos? I'm so sorry. I'm probably butchering his name. He and Nikola Tesla are my future husbands. Just want y'all to know. And I love him. He's the one who's got the crazy hair, and he has this really cute way of speaking. He has this really cute way, like a cadence he speaks. He's like, it's not gods. It's not angels. It's not any miraculous thing from heaven. That's just crazy. That's just silly. It's aliens. And I look at them too, and I'm like, could be the same thing. And by the way, I also understand that many times they do really big jumps on ancient aliens. They'll go from point A to point Mars. And sometimes it's like, but y'all are trying to say that as a fact, but it's not necessarily a fact. But then they pull up some really interesting stuff too. So take everything with a grain of salt, right? I'm not saying I wholeheartedly believe it all, but let's look at this. How could that not be artificial insemination? And isn't that possible that that's what it was? Now, I'll do another video maybe on this if you guys want to hear about it, but the Book of Enoch is wild. Apparently, Enoch is some dude that ETs picked up, put in a spaceship, and gave him a bunch of crazy information that's supposed to help humanity, and was like, here you go, disperse. And you know what I find weird? Religion constantly leaves out these scrolls and these texts from the Book of Enoch. Why? And I find that interesting. On top of that, y'all, over the last decade, we've had a complete shift from the Vatican. Listen, I grew up Catholic, so don't think I'm knocking Catholics. I know a lot of people are Catholic and trying to be good people, but can we admit the church is just EFFED? It's effed up. Can we just admit that? Like, what they've done with women and children and how creepy they've been, I'm not a fan. So when I go, I can't really talk about it much without wanting to hurl, because I feel like they are really a part of the human selling of life game. Not real fans of them. But they have done this big 180 from aliens don't exist, that's silly, to they've been now saying over the last 10 to 12 years, at first it was it's possible. And then we heard that the astronomers from the Vatican saying, aliens do exist, we're pretty sure they do. I mean, it's been this fantastic flip between that. So even the religions themselves are starting to change. But to me, it begs the question, if Enoch went up in a UFO, if any of this is true, maybe it's all made up. But if Enoch did get sucked right on up in a UFO and get all that info, why is the Vatican leaving that out? Why has the United States governments and governments across the world taken such great measures anytime large skeletons are found that are, over 7 feet tall, several meters tall, and they make sure and they send it all to the Smithsonian and they disappear? Why is that? So let's go into a couple interesting pieces of information and some counter arguments, because y'all know I like to play devil's advocate. And like I said, who knows, maybe this is all just silly info and all of it's crap. But oh my God, is it fun to look. Why am I'm yelling at you guys. I'm excited. I sound like I'm angry. What's wrong with me? Okay, so I want to go and just read some excerpts. Let's be fair to the Christian ideal. This is from creation.com. Was Jesus an alien? It says, how can we show just how ludicrous the alien Jesus blank theory really is? And this is from Gian L. from Australia. And I think it's funny that they're like, how do we show how ludicrous this is? I don't know. Maybe the same way you show that Catholics going to church once a week and worshiping a zombie and eating people and mimicking cannibalism. You take the cracker and the wine. I don't know. Maybe it's as ludicrous. That's, by the way, growing up Catholic, when I was 10, I realized, it hit me. I'm like, we're worshiping a zombie and we're eating people. But yet this is supposed to make us better people. What are we doing? My 10-year-old little fat self didn't trust any of this. Okay, so it says, there are several reasons beyond the ones you mentioned why. Okay, so somebody says, I'm not sure if this particular blank theory is discussed here, but some people make the outrageous and ridiculous claim that Jesus was merely an alien and not the Son of God. Why can't alien and the Son of God be the same thing? It's just funny to me that you're going to believe in one narrative and fairy tale and not the other. Just saying. And so it says, pointing to his various miracles and resurrections as proof he was an alien visitor. Apart from the impossibility of the existence of aliens and the infallibility, this whole thing is the two statements are hypocritical. Miracles exist, but it's impossible for aliens. Well, if miracles exist, how could the miracle of aliens not exist? It's just, again, people, like watching people pick and choose what stories to believe and narratives is always interesting to me. Apart from the impossibility of the existence of aliens and infallibility, inerrancy, and inspired nature providing that he is the Messiah, what would you say to these people? Well, how do you know Messiah doesn't mean maybe it's the same thing. They just might have used different words back then because they didn't have the complete understanding of how to express this, and we don't either. It's not like we fully know. So it says there are several reasons beyond the ones that you mentioned for why Jesus is an alien is a ludicrous blank theory. Aliens in the gospel. The alien Jesus idea has only one thing supposedly going for it other than the failed naturalistic ideas don't. Why aren't aliens natural? They might not be natural to this planet, but y'all really think this is the only planet that sustains life? Come on. It says, it seemingly explains Jesus's miracles. But there's an absurdity, an absolutely large cost for affirming this. If the idea is right, the documents that reliably report Jesus's miracles, the Gospels, either tell us about Jesus's teachings unreliably or reliably tell us that Jesus's unreliable teachings. Here's what bothers me when people make these arguments like this. Well, then it means that the Bible isn't something to rely on. Right. I bet most of those people eat pork. Bible tells you not to eat pork. I bet most of those people are against slavery. Bible talks about how to own your slaves. So really, what this text you're looking at, you already are picking and choosing which fairy tales to believe out of it. By the way, I'm not saying it's fairy tale. I don't know. I'm not I mean, I could sit here and give logic and reason, but then I'm also going to tell you that, go watch my videos. I have a video all about my vision's different. I see colors and shapes and stuff that float around. Granted, we think I have an eye issue, but I mean, I don't know. I could use reason here, but I'm also somebody who really wants the concept of aliens to be real, so can we really trust my reason? But at the same time, I can sit and entertain fun theories and ideas and still stay in the real world, or as the New Agers, as I used to be a New Age, put it, I can ground myself. The New Agers. No disrespect if that's who you are, by the way. I like a lot of the stuff they say. I just don't like a lot of the victim shaming and the P words that go on there and the justification of the P words. Please infer. It says, okay, so we're going to go on. It says, so basically, it would mean that Jesus' miracles aren't reliable, is what he's saying. Yeah, but miracles could come from ETs too. If God is bestowing miracles upon people, so they say, right? Well, are ETs not people because they're not from this earth? You really think that God was just like, oh, this earth and that's it? I don't know. Just theories. It says the gospel writers didn't think Jesus was a charlatan. On the other hand, if the gospel report Jesus' teachings unreliably, why believe their reports about the miracles? If the gospel can't be trusted to report reliably on mundane things, like what Jesus taught and what first century Judaism was like, we can't trust the miracle reports either. So they're basically saying if you can't trust one thing, you can't trust anything. Well then, I guess by this guy's argument, the Bible's complete crap, because we eat pork and we don't own slaves in this country. Well, unless it's behind the scenes and you're super rich, because those people are weird. So, the argument just doesn't make sense anyway. And on top of that, you're relying on a text that's over 2,000 years old for a completely different time and a completely different people who had no vocabulary or understanding how to express what they're seeing to people of our age. Do you think people in 2,000 years might misinterpret what we're saying because things are going to be vastly different? What if it's just run by a bunch of AI bots who don't know how to feel and they read your text going, oh, these people are mentally ill? There's so many other variables to say, well, it's not reliable. Well, how much stuff happens in human error, even current day, to miscommunication? So let's continue to go on. So this is from Parlia.com. Somebody talks about Jesus being an alien. It says, Jesus told his followers about his extraterrestrial background. John 8:23 states, and he was saying to them, you are from below, I am from above. You are this world, I am not of this world. Jesus himself said he was an alien. And he has, remember, several times. Let's listen to this argument. It says context. Blank theorists have claimed that they have found the symbol of the crucifix on the surface of Mars. They believe that the discovery of this symbol helps prove that Christ was an extraterrestrial who sought to teach an intelligent form of life across the cosmos about ethics and morality. I don't know anything about what's being found on Mars, except I fully believe Mars has been colonized. Oh my gosh, if you guys want to hear this theory, it's so much fun. Let me know, sound up in the comments. I am so excited about this topic. Okay, so This is saying basically that this is the theory, and why not? Why couldn't he have been? Right? The argument, John 8:23 states of Jesus, and he was saying to them, you are from below, I'm from above, you are of this world, I'm not of this world. Directly telling his disciples that he is not from this world appears to be a confession that he is not human, and indeed not from this planet. Yes, Queen. In addition to what is believed to be the carving of a crucifix on Mars, there's also the statue of the Lamb next to the crucifix. The addition of the statue of the Lamb is considered further evidence that Jesus Christ was an alien and that any aliens that lived on Mars would believe in Christ. Okay, sorry I'm laughing. Sometimes I read all of this in its context and it's just funny. I love it all, but it's just funny. This is because it's believed that this cross is supposedly to be the Lamb of God. Both the Lamb and the cross are considered evidence that not only was there once intelligent life on Mars, but that Jesus has dedicated himself to traveling across the cosmos and spreading this message to other intelligent life forms. Interesting. Now I want you to take a look at some of these pictures. If you can see, and I'll have it zoomed in here in just a minute, you can see that it looks like there is an actual cross, right? So a line going up and down, and another one side to side on Mars. I mean, let's be real. I'm not saying that's the cross of Christ or whatever, but that is pretty T-shaped. And we know in nature does not like lines in terms of straight lines. Typically, nature doesn't form things like that. So that is very, very interesting that that's something that has been found recently. Another one I want to go into says, a painting from 1710 also seems to suggest that aliens were present at the baptism of Christ. The painting, titled Baptism of Christ, depicts John the Baptist baptizing Jesus on the River Jordan. However, the painting also shows something hovering over the pair and shining a light down on the baptism. Blank theorists argue that the object, which many believe to be the sun, that is shining light down on the baptism, bears a strong resemblance to a UFO. The UFO shape is significantly a strong symbol of the idea that aliens have been visiting Earth for many centuries. And so if we look at this painting, guys, I have a hard time. Look at this. First of all, it looks like it's dusk or it's just about to be night. It is a super dark picture, yet you have this disc. And typically when you see the sun, it might be more like circular, but this is like a flatter oval disc, and it's beaming down 4 rays with, see that spot? There's a yellow spot in the center. And some people are like, oh, that's done. But guys, I'm telling you, go back and look at all kinds of medieval or different types of paintings, especially in the Renaissance era. You're going to see all kinds of weird stuff, and stuff that to me or to other people look like UFOs. Stuff that's flying around the sky that's not supposed to be there, because stuff apparently back then per their technology didn't fly. So what is happening? Now I want to go to express.co.uk. It says Easter 2019. Was Jesus Christ an alien prophet? Shocking theory is increasingly likely. It says Easter is the Christian festival marking Jesus's miraculous resurrection from the dead. But Jesus Christ's divine powers are, in fact, evidence that he was an alien, a controversial theory has claimed. In January 2015, NASA discovers Kepler 438b, a planet that's 475 light years away. It is a similar size to Earth and distance from its sun, and the hypothetical Goldilocks zone that proposed optimal distance a planet needs to be from its star in order to harbor intelligent life. This stands to the possibility of aliens existing, seemingly increasingly likely. Guys, we keep finding more and more planets are in this Goldilocks type of zone. With this in mind, since the 1960s, there have been attempts by pseudoscientists to reconcile traditional religious teachings with our increasing understanding of the universe we live in, and questioning the implications of the history of the human race if we are not alone. Ufologist Dr. Barry Downing is one of the many people who believes aliens have visited Earth and influenced our history and religion for millennia. Dr. Downing, who was also part of the Presbyterian Church as a minister, argued the divine events depicted in the Bible are in fact evidence of extraterrestrial technologies that were interpreted by early humans. In fact, Dr. Downing even goes as far as to say Jesus Christ was an alien. Dr. Downing identifies episodes in the Bible that are similar to modern UFO encounters, like the world's purportedly oldest UFO sighting in the book of Ezekiel. He further highlights evidence of extraterrestrial activity in the Gospel of St. Matthew in the New Testament, which reports a sky-born being descending to tell the wise men about the coming birth of Jesus. Dr. Downing also suggests the star leading the wise men to the stable where Jesus was born is, in fact, a UFO that telepathically guided the wise men to Bethlehem. Ooh! That's an interesting one we'll get into. He also draws evidence from the Bible's depiction of Mary's immaculate conception and the virgin birth of her son, Jesus, or the insemination. Dr. Downing suggests Jesus' embryo was implanted into Mary by aliens, while other theories claimed she was inseminated with alien sperm and Jesus is an alien-human hybrid. When she was visited by the angel Gabriel, Mary is told she will have an important son. Dr. Downing suggests this exchange she had with Gabriel was in fact an alien encounter. Other ufologists draw comparisons with Mary's virgin birth and modern alien abduction reports, where women recall becoming spontaneously pregnant after an alien encounter. However, the phenomenon has not been proven by modern science, and so the most compelling evidence of this Jesus alien theory is the biblical reports of Jesus's miracles. The Bible says, aged 30, Jesus left home to embark on a 3-year mission to preach wisdom to humanity and advocate social change. During the mission, Jesus performed a series of miracles which Christian churches believe prove Jesus was a divine Messiah and the Son of God. Jesus had the powers to change nature, walk on water, and raise the dead, according to the Bible. The biblical ufologists believed it is more logical to attribute this miracle to advanced alien powers than a divine one. The alien power, Dr. Downing believes, is also what Jesus used to resurrect himself after being crucified on the cross, and the ascension from the earth is argued to be the return of this home planet. And if you guys don't know what ascension is kind of more like a new age term that says we are going, or if you've ever heard the song, the age of Aquarius, right? That we are going basically from one age to another, from one dimension to another. The planet is ultimately changing, going to a higher state of consciousness, higher dimension, and we're going to be higher beings, higher forms of intelligence at some point. I don't know. If you've ever been on Twitter, I think we stand to argue that still. But I also want to go into one more thing that I don't know, this one I thought was very, very interesting when it comes to this argument. And guys, I could go on for days and weeks about this, so I'm just going to give a few snippets. It says, Christian spiritual gospel says the Bible was wrong. Jesus was an alien from Venus. From Venus! Y'all, story time. I once met a woman who claims that she's an alien from Venus, and she's kind of famous. Do you guys want to know about this story time? It's a weird one, but let me know. I could actually... I have so many weird stories. I wish I was making it up too. I'm sure I could find evidence somewhere. Email keeps everything. But yeah, I met somebody who claims they're an alien from Venus. And it was interesting. Super nice, just super interesting. And guys, speaking of Jesus, those 3 wise men followed that Star of Bethlehem or whatever. Well, some theorists say maybe that's a UFO, but check this out. The Star of Bethlehem is actually Jupiter and Saturn conjunction, which we've been having right now. Are we getting another Jesus, y'all? I'm kidding. I don't know that. I just get so excited by these topics. I think they're so fascinating. So this is an article from outerplaces.com. It says, Christian spiritual group says the Bible was wrong. Jesus was an alien from Venus. Okay. Depending on your religion, you might believe that Jesus Christ was just a man, that he was the Son of God, or that he never existed at all. But maybe all of those options are wrong. There's one international group of spiritualists called the Aerotheus Society, that believes that Jesus was definitely real, but they say the Bible got it wrong. He was not from this planet. The group was founded in the mid-1950s by a man named George King, who claimed to have been contacted by an alien named Aethereus, Aetherius. King Society says on its website that it's dedicated to spreading and acting upon the teachings of advanced extraterrestrial intelligence, and one of those intelligences that King learned from was Master Jesus. King spoke in the past about meeting Jesus on a hill at a place called Holdstone Down. Dimly out of the corner of my eye, I saw something in the sky. Then I saw a being which kind of appeared before me. I didn't see him walking up to me. I opened my eyes and there he was. He was tall. He was dressed in a long robe. He had long brownish hair. There was so much radiance around this man. I knew, although he didn't tell me, I knew that he was Jesus and that he had come from planet Venus. I didn't have to be told. I just knew this. Like my alien I met's from Venus. So there are no grainy photos of George King with Jesus and no alien bones or other physical scientific evidence to support his claims. But there's a little thing called faith. This is rarely an issue when it comes to belief in spirituality. The Aerotheus Society considered Holdstone Down to be a holy mountain. And the organization is planning an Operation Prayer Power pilgrimage on July 28th to another holy mountain in Devon, a country in southwest England. So, and that one, it's just basically a fringe group of Christians who think this is the case, but this is one person's account as well. And I will look more and more into this, but if I remember correctly, and sound off if you're Mormon, in the comments, but when I was doing some research on Mormonism, so Joseph Smith, he was visited by, some angels or whatever. Apparently, somewhere in the text, it says something about the fact that whoever visited him to give him these scrolls were ETs from the Pleiades, which I about lost my crap over. Not gonna turn Mormon anytime soon. I'm not turning anything anywhere. I am just me, but I'm always fascinated by this stuff. I always find it super fascinating how much religion and extraterrestrial type of topics end up going hand in hand, and how when you dive into so many different religions, look at Hinduism and the Vimanas, there's so much stuff that ends up connecting us with stuff that's outside or out of this world. Or I don't know, extraterrestrial? Why does it have to be either gods or extraterrestrial? What if some of these are one in the same? And I find these topics fascinating. And if you do too, and you want to see more videos like this, let me know. Sound off in the comments. I'm very excited to hear what you have to say. And again, I'm not saying anything is real or not real. I don't know. I am saying this fascinates me. I love this stuff, and I love to share it with you guys. And guys, if you like this video, want to support my channel, what is going on with me? Give me a big thumbs up. Also subscribe and hit the notification button so you can know when I upload weird content like this, or I do a lot of pop culture stuff where I break down and give insight into things that, different insights you might not hear other places. Maybe I will, maybe some people say them, but it's stuff that I like to give and disseminate. And share this content if you think that there are people in your life who would like it. Know any alien or religion lovers? Send this to them and see what they think. And then check out the other videos that I have. Like I said, I'm doing some stuff on Britney Spears, Onision. I have a series on Shane Dawson, and I'm working on one with Eugenia Cooney. Let me know what you guys think of that. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and go. I wish everybody a very Merry, sparkly Christmas. I love you guys so much. My Christmas gift is coming back to this channel and being with y'all. It really is. Oh, and look at this. My boots sparkle too! The sparkly boots! That's my Christmas gift. Y'all and sparkles and my body sprays that I can wear them. I'm so happy I can wear them. I hope everybody had a great holiday. Take care, everybody. Blessings. Till the next video, I'm wishing everybody lots of love and giving y'all hugs, mwah, and kisses.